C team 7, Area 52. So we compete in robotics throughout the season. We go to meets, compete for points, and then we also have championships at the end of the season. And part of what we do here in FTC is we're really passionate about outreach, helping the community, things like that. So one of our continuous projects every season is the STEM Forum. This is our second STEM Forum, and in each one, we will invite someone with expertise in different areas, whether that be their career experience or, in this case, cybersecurity. So our speaker today is Bernard Smith, a Microsoft Cloud Solution Engineer. He is a tech entrepreneur, investor, philanthropist. He graduated from Johnson C. Smith University, a historically Black college and university, with a bachelor's in computer engineering. And then he moved to Dallas to start his career at Microsoft. While here, he graduated with his MBA in IT management at Western Governor University. And he is the immediate past president for Blacks at Microsoft, or BAM Dallas. He is also the co-founder of Microsoft's Next Step initiative, which helps teach underprivileged communities computer science and financial literacy. His passion for helping students led him to develop a seminar to help students get hired by Seminar. On top of this, he also started the first historically Black college or university esports and gaming program at his alma mater, Johnson C. Smith, with a generous donation of $11,000. Bernard knows the struggle of not being financially stable and the power of paying it forward, so this led him to create the Bernard A. Smith Endowment at Johnson C. University, which aims to help ease the financial burden of tuition during their time at university. His goal is to champion people to reach beyond the constraints they know and embrace technology and self-development for continuous innovation. So Bernard, take it away.
Wow. Wow. Thank you. Just amazing introduction. Thank you, Ariel. Such an honor to be around everyone this evening. Thank you for just taking, an hour out your day to listen to me speak about, something so important to us, right? Something so important to the world, which is cybersecurity, right? And as we know today, the world has moved towards this digital, right? A digital world. You see it in the movies, you see it in your everyday, your cell phone, when you get on the internet. And so it's crucial that we think about how we protect ourselves, right, in that digital world. So thank you once again for having me. And before we get into cybersecurity, I like to just talk about, things that I do outside of cybersecurity, right, because it can sound really, very technical, that, hey, I'm on a computer every day and, maybe, protecting you all right from cyber threats. But a lot of things that I like to do outside of just, on a computer, working at Microsoft, doing a lot of things in the community. I'm a big water, right? I'm a water guy. I love to be in the water. As you can see, I love dolphins. I love to play video games, right? I know a lot of us probably like to play video games too as well. Racing games are my favorite. I'm a Lakers fan, right? Kobe Bryant. For any Lakers fans in here, I went to a Dallas game, but unfortunately, Kobe Bryant has passed away. But I'm still a Lakers fan and was able to go to a Dallas game for the first time, so that was pretty cool to see Lakers and Dallas play. LeBron James is currently that superstar on the Lakers now. Big Batman guy, right? For anybody as a Batman fan here and Halo fan, I was in Vegas actually when I took this picture with Batman and the Halo guy. So that was pretty cool. Next, I was in New York Stock Exchange, right? I was on the big. I don't know if y'all been to New York. Anybody been to New York in here? Put in the chat if you've been to New York. And I've been to Times Square. I was at the NASDAQ, right? My picture was up on Times Square. I took a picture, had a chance to network with a lot of people at NASDAQ to represent Blacks at Microsoft. Also, I'm very musically inclined. I love Michael Jackson. As you can see, I was in Vegas as well with this picture. They had a museum full of like celebrities, and I had a chance to take one. And my little sister, I believe, took that picture with Michael Jackson. Then recently, I just left Honduras, right? Anybody ever been to Honduras in here? I was in Honduras this summer and I had a chance to do zip lining, right? Zip lining is pretty cool. I did that for the first time. You see me upside down doing zip line. When the nerves got out, right? And I started, having fun with it after that. And I love to, mountain climb, rock climbing, as you can see, on one of the pictures. I love birds. They had a nice museum in Honduras as well with a lot of birds, a lot of animals, right? sloths, things of that nature, too, as well. A lot of monkeys as well. Honduras has a lot of those type of animals. And then lastly, I love dirt bikes and ATVs. So you see a picture of me on a dirt bike I had since I was in high school. You know, my first dream actually before it was tech, right? Because I didn't grow up with a computer, right? And my first dream was actually it was to be in motocross, right? And supercross, to ride dirt bikes and ATVs. Because I was more outside at the time. Nowadays, there's a lot of stuff that keep us inside, but in the 90s, right, it was more outside in. So just some little background about me. Just before we get into all the fun, protect yourself talk, right? And so my agenda today is, introduction to cybersecurity. What's on the news right now around cybersecurity, why cybersecurity matters, what are common threats you all likely may see. We're going to look at some examples of spoofing and impersonation protection. I want you all to help me with that. Protecting yourself online, ways that you can get involved today, right? In cybersecurity. You might think you have to work at a big company to get involved, but you actually don't, right? And we have a quiz game towards the end too as well. So make sure you're paying attention. Might be some cool stuff coming after that. And then cybersecurity certifications that you can get, right? For those who are interested after this presentation, maybe you're interested already in cybersecurity, and any resources that you can now, give to your parents, give to your teacher, right? If you're at a company today, maybe even give those resources to those folks too as well. Also your friends, right? Don't leave out your friends, right? Because cybersecurity is everybody's responsibility. And I want you all to remember that, right? Cybersecurity is everybody's responsibility. So what I did is put together a presentation to help you understand what cybersecurity is, right? And cybersecurity is like a superhero, right? Right, for your computer and the internet. It's all about keeping your computer, your information, the things you do online safe, right? From bad people who might want to do naughty things, right? Imagine your computer, right? Today, imagine your computer is like a secret treasure chest full of all your favorite things, like your games, pictures that you just saw, maybe your homework, right? Cybersecurity is like putting a magical lock on that treasure chest to keep it safe, right? So why does cybersecurity matter? Privacy protection, safeguarding your personal information, financial security. You may know, right, already, but oftentimes, the reason why people are phishing you, the reason why you're getting a lot of these attacks on yourself is really for some financial gain, right? So we want to prevent, financial loss due to cyber attacks. I got millions of stories from my customers, from friends in my family, people who are getting tricked every day. I just had a family member actually lose like $89,000 by clicking on a link and sharing personal, bank account information, thinking they was gonna kind of do a deal, right, to buy a house, right? And so I want you all to remember that. Be careful, right? You can lose a lot of money in cybersecurity. You got companies who are losing billions of dollars, actually. I know $80,000 is small, but when you thought that $89,000 going to a house and it doesn't, and you just lost it, and your bank tells you like, hey, there's nothing we can do about it. I mean, it can definitely hurt you, really, really bad, right? And also your reputation, right? You want to protect your online reputation. How many of us, put in the chat, got a Instagram, what TikTok, right? Facebook, for those who may be on Facebook, what Snapchat, I'm not sure if you all use Snapchat, right? But any other online, presence that you potentially have. But the national security, they know, because we have all these apps, because we have the internet, right? Because everything is digital, your money, right? Those who may know about crypto coins like digital currency, right? Your bank account still to this day, right? Cybersecurity is a global concern, right? And that's why it matters. That's why it matters. So these are some quick facts here. 95% of cybersecurity breaches are caused by human error. So just remember that, right? Human error is cause of 95%, right? 95% of us, today, right, fall victim to cybersecurity breaches. And that's something that you can have control over, right, going forward, right? They now say that the security market is forecast to reach 366.1 billion in 2028, right? So a lot of money is being thrown into cybersecurity because we know that the world has came from that physical world, moving more digital, right? The U.S. was a target for 46% of cyber attacks in 2020, right? 2020 was COVID year, right? That's more than double than did any country. Think about that. 46% just in 2020. We'll get the numbers for 2023 later, right? 64% of Americans have never checked to see if they're affected by a data breach, right? 64. A lot of us don't even know to this day. We might be clicking on malicious links. We don't know if an attacker is on our computer today, right? We don't know if an attacker is on our phone today, right? We have our passwords written down somewhere. We may be using public internet services at the airport, right? We don't know. We don't know if we're affected by a data breach, right? And you may not know until it's too late, right? Until that $89,000 is drawn from your account, then you will know, right? Then you'd be like, oh, I should have did X, Y, Z. But here I'm here to help you, right? Understand how to protect yourself, right? When they said data breach exposed 22 billion records in 2021, a data breach, 22 billion records, right? That's crazy, right? 22 billion records in 2021 data breaches, right? Exposing all your data, your personal information, your passwords, your credit card information, where you live, your email addresses, so much, right? That you have now that you think is secure, potentially may not be secure, right? And there's an estimate of over 300 billion passwords are used by humans and machines worldwide. So keep that in mind as we continue to talk about that. Feeling towards cybersecurity, 78% of people said that, hey, they consider securing themselves right online as a priority. We need to bump that up to 100%, right? As 100% of people should be feeling like, hey, security is a priority. Oftentimes people do feel overwhelmed, right? There's a lot of information out there around cybersecurity, but I'm gonna digest it, right? Because oftentimes when folks feel overwhelmed, they minimize their online, their efforts, right, to protect themselves. And so you may feel frustrated, right? 46% people feel frustrated, while staying secure online. And 39 of us, right, 39% of users try to keep things safe, right? But they feel like, hey, there's information out there, to help us stay secure, that may potentially be, confusing, right? So here I am today to make it less confusing as possible, right? Our online behaviors, only 33% of individuals create unique passwords for all accounts. How many of us put in the chat, maybe use the same password for your bank account, for your Xbox, right? Password, for your Instagram, for your TikTok, right? How many of us use the same password? We got to be careful, right? Ooh, please be careful using the same password. Because if I'm an attacker, what if I get that password? Now I have access to everything, right? How many of us heard of multi-factor authentication, right? 43% of people said they haven't heard of multi-factor authentication. Anybody heard of it? Put in the chat if you have heard of multi-factor authentication. Put in the chat if you never heard about it, right? I'm here to talk about it today. 92% of respondents took action after security training. So that's good, right? That's good numbers, right? Because people, they don't know what they don't know, right? So once you're educated, hopefully you're putting that education to action. So today, that homework today will be what we learned today. Hopefully, right, we are part of that 92%. We bump it up to 95, 99 after today. Hopefully this recording helps the world, right? And so we bumped up to 100% of people taking action, right, after this quick security training that you all may go through today. And all my findings are from the annual Security and Attitudes Behaviors Report of 2022. That's going to be reported, every year. So there are common cyber threats, viruses, and malware. That's the first one. Phishing attacks. That's the second one. The third one is identity theft. The fourth is ransomware. And the fifth is DDoS attacks, right? Denial of service attacks. And we'll touch briefly on each of these, right? I'll digest it to make it less overwhelming, for everybody, on the call. If you have heard of any of these, put in the chat. The first one is, virus and malware. When I think of a virus, right, and how you should think of a virus, think of a computer virus like a tiny invisible germ, right, that can make your computer sick, right? How many have been sick before, right? If you've been sick before, just like how you can catch a cold from a sneeze, your computer can catch a virus, right, if you click on something bad. So when your computer catches a virus, it can start acting funny, right? Some virus can also make your computer stop working, right? And so think of a virus like that, like a tiny invisible germ that can make your computer sick, just like how you can catch a cold from from a sneeze. A malware, think of a malware as a group of bad guys, right? That includes viruses, right? But it also includes other mean computer programs. Malware can be like little digital troublemakers, I like to call them. They sneak into your computer, they do things they're not supposed to do, right? For example, right, a malware can spy on what you do on your computer and try to steal your secrets. Others might make like annoying pop-ups ads appear all the time. How many of us had annoying pop-up ads, right? Put in the chat if you had a annoying pop-up ad, right? Maybe you was, maybe your mom, right, father didn't want to buy, a certain movie, right, and then you went on a website, right, to find out how to get this movie for free, or they didn't take you to the movie, so it's like, I'm gonna find a movie for free, right? And you clicked on a link, right, to get that free movie, and next thing you know, you see all these annoying pop-ups, right? You didn't know, like, oh, mom, dad, I just really just put a malware on my computer, right? Just by going to get a free, trying to, and good intentions, right? To get that movie for free, potentially, because, mom, pop didn't take you, to the movies, potentially, or didn't buy it off Amazon, Prime, potentially, right? And so that malware, you might have seen this before, right? So to stay safe, right, from that virus, from that malware, don't click on things that seem strange or come from people you don't know, right? Have good, anti-malware, antivirus software, like a digital superhero, right? To protect your computer, from those bad guys, right? Keep your computer software up to date, because oftentimes they have updates that include shields to protect against malware. So just like you wash your hands, right, to stay healthy, you can use a good computer hygiene to keep your computer safe from virus and malware. So keep that in mind, as well. As I kind of use these analogies, right, around, virus and malware and these other ones I'm going to talk about. Next is phishing attacks. Over 70% of breaches, right, are coming from phishing attacks, right? And they're financially motivated. Phishing is like a tricky character that pretends to be someone they're not to fool you, right? Right. Imagine a fisherman, right, who uses a fake lure, right, to catch a fish. Okay. How many of us got fake friends? You got a fake friend, right? you know, maybe y'all might have read into a fake friend potentially, right? Somebody that when we say a fake friend, right, is somebody who's tricky, right? They're a tricky character, right? They pretend to be your friend, right? Or someone you trust, right? They don't have to be a friend. They could be somebody you might have thought you could trust at that moment, right? You was trying to see if they could be a friend or not, right? But if you have a fake friend, you know what I'm talking about, right? you know, they pretend to be your friend or someone you trust, and they might send you a message, right, that look like they're from a friend, right, or a website. That's what a phishing attack doing. They're pretending, right? They're trying to trick you. They send you a message. They look like it look like it's coming from a friend, a website that right? They might have like sneaky questions, right? Like in those messages, they might ask you for your secret, just like a fake friend may want to know a lot about you, right? Oh yeah, we know that such and such does this, and your mom is this, and your brother is here, and they might ask you your secrets, right? And just like your passwords or your address, right? They might tell you to click on the link. A fake friend might tell you to do something that you're not supposed to do, and they get you in trouble, right? Just trying to relate it some more to you all to understand what a phishing is, right? And then when they lure you into that dark alley, they lure you into this room, right? That's the trap, right? That's the trap. And if you fall for the trick, you share your secrets, you click on the link, they can use that information to do bad things or even steal your stuff, right? You got a friend that, hey, I'm giving the car keys to him, or I let the friend into the house when the parents are not home, right? They're tricking you, right? I'm your friend. Let me go in your house, and next they leave your house and your PlayStation is missing, right? So you don't want to fall for the trap from fake friends, right? Because they can do bad things. They can steal your stuff, just like a phishing attack. You want to fall for that phishing attempt, right? So always be skeptical, right? To protect yourself from phishing, always be skeptical. If someone asks for your secrets or tells you to click on something, always double check with a grown up or somebody you can trust, right? Make sure the message is really from somebody that they claim to be, right? They're really from a person or from a place that they claim to be, right? Sometimes bad characters, right? they make fake emails, they make fake messages that look real, right? And so you gotta be careful for that. We'll look at a couple examples today too as well. And don't click on everything. I know we had a click generation, right? We're clicking and we're scrolling a lot. Be careful clicking on emails or messages, especially if you don't expect them. Okay. It's better to ask a grown-up first, right? If you wear it around, this message or this email that came in, that's for them to check first, but phishing is like a game of pretend, right? But not a fun one, right? So always be cautious. Make sure you check with a grown up if you ever get a message that seems a little fishy. Okay. Next is identity theft. Identity theft is like someone who pretends to be you, right? How many of us have somebody pretend to be us, right? It's like maybe it's a friend that pretends to be you. Maybe it's somebody that you see across the hall in your school. They pretend to be you. They dress like you. They want to have their hair like you. um they bought the same shoes you bought, right? Maybe you got on the basketball team, they want to be on the basketball team too. They're a bit like having a twin, but they're not a nice twin, right? They're not a nice twin at all, right? They may use your name, right? Your pictures, right? Your information to do bad things, right? That's what we call identity theft. They use your name, use your pictures. When I used to play Xbox, well, I still play Xbox, right? When I was younger, right, and I played Xbox, you had people that were like, you used to put your picture online, and they still do this to this day, right? On Instagram, right? You got people who make fake accounts that act like they're you, right? And they use your pictures, maybe to, talk to other people that are in your circle, right? When I was playing Xbox, people used to like, take your gamer tag, use your same gamer tag, potentially like change a little thing, your gamer tag. They might even use a picture to act like they're you too as well. But identity theft is just like that. They're trying to steal your personal information, act as if they're you to trick somebody else, right? They want to be you, right? And that pretty much they're a sneaky pretender. So just imagine there's a sneaky person who wants to be you. They might get your name, they might get your birthday, any other personal information, and they're going to use that information to pretend they're you. And that person might use your name to buy things, open bank accounts, pretend to be you on the internet, as I mentioned. And they can do all sorts of things that could get you in trouble because they're pretending to be you. So you want to protect yourself, right? It's important that you keep your personal information safe. Don't share your password or your personal details with anyone you don't trust, right? Be careful what you share online. I know today is a big online, and we want to share everything about ourselves, where we live, what car we just bought, where we vacation, right? Post after you leave, right? I do that nowadays, right? I try to post after I leave an environment, right? Or long after something that's happened, I'll post about it, right? So that they're not getting that information as we speak today, right? You're getting it probably like a year later, 2 years later, after I don't left the whole entire area tool as well. But if you ever think someone is pretending to be you or doing something you didn't do, right? Tell your parents, right? Trust a grown up right away. They can help you sort things out. Stop the bad person. Identity theft is like a bad actor, right? Trying to play you in a movie, right? But they keeping your personal information safe. But by keeping your personal information safe, right, and telling grown-ups about any suspicious activities, you can help protect yourself from that identity theft. So be careful online. Don't talk to strangers, right? Online, don't share personal information. And it's not like talking to strangers in the real world. It's just different when we talk about digital. Next, we have ransomware. Ransomware is that financial motivated part of everything we're talking about, right? A ransomware is like a digital villain, right? They sneak into your computer, right? They take your digital stuff, your picture, your games, your homework, your hostage. Someone's like, oh, you can have the homework, right? They can have the homework. But it's a bit like a computer pirate, right? It's like a sneaky intruder right there. Imagine a little sneaky character that gets into your computer when you're not looking, right? And that character is like a computer hacker. They lock up all your important digital things and they won't let you use them, right? And then after they lock your stuff up, right, they leave you a message on your computer screen and they'll say, hey, it'll say something like, if you want to get your stuff back, right, you have to give them some digital money, right? You might have seen it in the movies, right? You watching these superhero movies, they go and kidnap the person, right? And then Spider-Man or Superman, they gotta save him, right? But if you want, they'll be talking to like maybe the U.S. Marshal or somebody, you know, in the government, like, hey, if you want your stuff back, if you want this person back, if you want, you know, this, and that, you got to pay us $50 billion, right? Right. That's called a ransom, right? And then, you know, of course, Superman comes in. It's like, oh, we're not paying that. We got Superman. Like, why are we gonna pay $50 billion and we got Superman? Right. So think about it like that, you know. But if you're in a tricky spot and you get, you know, you get hit with a ransom, you really want your things back, don't pay the ransom, please. Don't pay the ransom. I know somebody that actually got tricked like that. Um, Somebody was able to take their, stuff on their computer. Pretty much, they had to pay like a couple thousand to get it back. They paid that thousand, and then they actually never gave them their stuff back. So be careful of that, because now you know, like I gave the example earlier with 89,000. Now you already lost 89,000. They're trying to give them 100,000. You get 100,000. Now you're down 189,000 dollars. So there's no guarantee that they'll actually unlock your stuff. You don't want to, you know, paying the ransom is like giving in to the bad guys. Okay. So once again, you know, get some help here. Tell somebody right away, parents, teacher, whoever you got in your circle. You're right. Not a good idea once again to pay the bad guy, because it might encourage them to continue to do the bad thing. You know, protect your computer or computer, you know, security, strong passwords, keep your software up to date. That can help prevent ransom from sneaking in. Ransomware is like a digital game of hide and seek. Right? I'm trying to relate it some more. It's like a digital game of hide and seek, but it's not a fun game, right? So it's important to stay safe online and be careful running to those digital villains. Okay. And the next thing we have, lastly, is DDoS attack, right? Denial of service attack. Imagine you having a big party at your house. You've got a lot of friends, right, over to play the games and have fun, right? Now imagine there's so many people at your party that your house cannot handle it. Everyone's trying to come in all at once, pretty much, right? And it gets crowded, right? It's, you know, it gets messy, and your house might not be able to handle all these people, and it could even break. So a DDoS attack is a bit like a overcrowded party, but on the internet, right? Instead of friends, like there's a bunch of computers all trying to visit a website at the same time. And these computers are not being friendly, right? They're trying to overwhelm the website and make it crash, right? You know, sometimes you may say if you built a website before, an attacker, they know about your website, they might send a lot of traffic to the website to make your website go down. So a lot of businesses, they run into a lot of this stuff too as well. So when a DDoS attack happens, or denial of service attack happens, it's like a big unruly crowd of computers all trying to get into a website at once, which can make it stop working. And it's kind of like a digital traffic jam, right? And the website can't handle it, and this could be a problem because some websites might be important for people or businesses, right? And when they can't use a website, it can cause a lot of trouble. And so people who do denial of service attacks are like troublemakers on the internet, and it's not a nice thing to do. And just like we need security to keep our parties in control, websites also have security that they need to protect themselves from a denial of service attack to keep things working smoothly. Okay, right. So that's the breakdown of things you will see right out on the digital world. Now let's get into some real world examples. Right, spoofing impersonation protection is my next topic here. um you all might have seen this. This is Instagram, right? How many of us seen this potentially come through your email, right? Hello, such and such. We regret to inform you that your account will be suspended because you have violated a copyright laws, and it'll be deleted in 24 hours. How many of us have seen this? Anybody in the chat? You know, put have you ever seen Instagram send you this message? Right? I heard this. Well, this actually it's still happening to the day, right? People getting tricked to reset their passwords to verify their account on Instagram, and then now your Instagram getting hacked. Anybody had their Instagram hacked before? I know a lot of my friends got their Instagrams hacks before. You know, you'll see a lot of stuff happen. So scammers, they'll use social media, right? Phishing emails to steal your personal information and sell on the dark web. Okay. So they'll seek you out. So it's important to know how social media phishing scams work. So this example here is tricking the person, right? The scammer is tricking someone to click on that phishing link here. You see it in blue, called verify, right? By logging to your account. Even if you thought the email look realistic, you always want to examine the headers of the message. So you see at the top left here, which says Instagram support mail at the Instagram.team. That is not an official Instagram address, right? So you always want to look at little things like that. If you ever and worry about it, look at the email. See, okay, that's not an Instagram. That's not an official email from Instagram, right? And so once you understand that, you know that this is a phishing attack today. Um, and so that's one way that you can look at a phishing email from Instagram, right? And it could be other sources, too, as well. So be careful. Next real world example here is Amazon. I know a lot of us shop on Amazon, right? I have about 3 packages come today. I buy too many things on Amazon. But knowing that scammers, they know that we all use things like Instagram, Amazon in this case, to buy things. They might send you an email to say, hey, we had some unusual activities coming from a IP address, right? And they're going to tell you, hey, um, we think somebody is trying to pretty much steal your identity, and we have to terminate your account. So click on this link, and we'll fill out some information on this link, and we'll take care of it for you. And you may say, okay, let me go click on this link. But if you pay attention right here at the top left too as well, a couple ways you can see Amazon. It says accounts at Mazon.com. What is Mazon, right? None of us know what Mazon is, right? So that's one way to tell. Also, you see I already hovered over the link for you. You can see like, hey, this address is going to some bit.ly, some, like a funky address pretty much. You can also hover over links and see where the address takes you. Or it's trying to take you, right? Don't actually click on it, but see where it's actually trying to take you. And I will be careful too. Another thing you could do is to don't click on the link, but go and type that address in, somewhere else and see, where it takes you. You got a corporate, right? Company, they have things like safe links, right? That can protect you, where it'll seem like a link to like a safe server, and that safe server will click on a link for you. And then it'll let you know if the link is malicious or not. If you're able to do that, I would prefer you to do it that way. But also, once again, things that you can do at home, if you're not at a company, is hover over the link, see it if it's taking you to a legitimate site, look at who it's coming from, and also be careful with phishing attacks. They like to see a lot of urgency. If when in doubt, just call Amazon. Just call Amazon. If you don't trust it, just call Amazon, the real Amazon number, right? And make sure that you can confirm that it's a legit, right? The next thing you can look at is the next thing you might have too, right? I know a lot of us may potentially use iPhones here or Androids that download apps, right? We love to play app games. I know I like to play app games too as well. There's a lot of fake app installation scams. And so you might have seen something like this. You all might even try to buy this app. Maybe you got your parents' credit card or debit card and you want to go purchase, something, right? For those who play Fortnite and stuff, you might be trying to buy stuff in Fortnite with your mom's credit card, debit card. Maybe it's your own money too as well, right? I'm not gonna rule that out. But you go into the app store potentially on your iPhone and you're trying to download some type of app, right? And they're telling you, oh, you want to buy this app, you got to put in your information, right, to download this app. So a lot of times folks are getting tricked to download fake apps, right? You're tricked to, hey, I'm putting my payment in, and we're thinking this is coming from the Apple store. But this email is in plain text. Apple actually doesn't send emails in plain text, right? There's an invoice attached to this too as well. Those are little things that you could look at. Apple doesn't send stuff like that, right? So you want to be careful looking at items like this when you're looking at installing an app. Maybe you got to put in some money too as well. And think about it, if it's an app you even downloaded, right? He's like, what payment are you referring to? I don't have a Clash of Clans app on my phone, right? So sometimes you might even have an email from an app you didn't even download, and then you see there's a serial number in the subject line. You can also you can click through it to find out what payment they're referring to as well, and then go back to your bank account and say, hey, make sure that it's legitimate too as well, so that you can go back and say, okay, it's illegitimate. They're lying to me, right? They're trying to scam me. They're telling me I got an app that I need to pay for that I'm not going to pay for pretty much. But if you were to open this app, it potentially might install that virus. I talk about that code, right? That sneeze, right? Or malware, too, as well on your device. So I always want to report this as a problem, to Apple, because if you were to click on this or download or give the money, it may be tough for you to get that money back, too, as well. Also, and there's no mention of Apple here, the email address, sender address in the in this email at all, right? Be careful. Spotlight poor grammar too as well. That's one way you can look at, make sure everything is spelled correctly, too as well. Look at poor grammar, misspelling. There's some good things to look at, too as well. Look for I was trying to look for any more. Not too much more on this app, on this example here, but just be careful, looking for like different languages too, like interpersonal languages, right? Maybe something like dear customer, or they might say thank you again for trusting us. Those are some things as well you want to look for. I got another example here too as well. PayPal, right? You read this here, PayPal is actually urging you to click on a link within 24 hours or you might disable your account. Oftentimes when you get an email, you will see something called a 5322. And I don't want to get too technical on this, Carl, but it's called a from address. The from address is what you see, right? And when you see that from address, you're thinking that this email is actually coming from PayPal, right? So you as a user, you see the from address and you say, oh, PayPal's about to disable my account. I use PayPal for all types of transactions. You click on the link, now you're fished, you're tricked at this point. And so you want to be careful clicking on links. Any urgency you see, always be careful, clicking on that. And so once again, you all will see the from address, but you won't see something called a mail from. So I actually have an activity built into this, where we're going to look at how easy it is for somebody to spoof you, right? Or spoof some type of company. So I want you all to look at this, what we call a message header, right? So you oftentimes won't do this, like, if you didn't know how to do it, of course, right? And because you got to use something called MX Toolbox, right? At Microsoft, we have something called Message Header Analyzer, to look at where the messages come from. So you're a cybersecurity person, you do this every day on a daily, and this is how we know if a user was potentially got hit with a phishing attack. So this is the back end stuff that we do to let you know, like, hey, somebody's actually phishing, the company, or phishing you, with a particular email. So you just saw the paper example. And so behind the scenes, this is what we're looking at here. And it's called a DMARC SPF alignment, right? Think of SPF as your IP address, right? In the SPF record, we put your IP address in your SPF record, and that's basically saying we allow people to send to you based on that IP address. It's like a route. So yes, IP address is listed, we can send email towards that particular company because they have the IP address listed. And then DMARC, think of it as um, authentication that's going to say, okay, let's check to make sure that it's actually coming from who it says it comes from, right? So the simplest way I could put it is actually a mailman, right? The mailman knows on the envelope, right? He has who it goes to, the address that it's to go to, and then who is it from, right? But the mailman doesn't look inside your package, right? He just knows, okay, the SPF is saying, hey, it goes to this address. So you're going to, as a mailman, my job is to say, okay, deliver the package to this address here. So it could be grandma's cookies, right? So grandma's cookies could potentially be in that envelope, or it could potentially not be in that envelope. But the mailman doesn't care if it's grandma's cookies in the envelope or not. So SPF is like the mailman. He's just going to deliver the package of grandma's cookies to the address that he sees on the envelope. And that's what you see, right? That's what the mailman sees. But when it gets to your house, right, or the apartment or whatever, you go to open up the package, you see it's not really grandma's cookies, right? So DMARC can address that issue. DMARC can say, okay, let me look inside the package or the envelope, and let's ensure that's actually grandma's cookies and not bad actor, right, or malicious actor that's sending something that isn't grandma's cookies. And then by the time it gets to you, it's too late, right? Because you don't open it already. So DMARC gonna say, wait a minute, it's not grandma's cookies. Mailman, turn around, turn the mail truck around, and don't give this package to this address because this is not grandma actually sending, the package to, to Bernard, right? And so that's one way I want you all, how as simple as I can explain it to you is DMARC is looking inside the package to verify that it is the legitimate, it is the cookies. SPF is just saying, hey, on the outside of the envelope, email it, email it to Bernard, drop it off to Bernard's address, and we're saying it's from grandma, but Bernard doesn't know at this point if it's from grandma or not. So what I want you all to do is look at this here and tell me if this is legitimate or illegitimate, right? And so you can see it says here, we check to see if the mail from and the headers from domains match, right? Once again, the from is what you see on a day-to-day, who emails you, you see it, but the mail from is what you don't see. This is how you know if it's a phishing attack, a spoof attack, or not. Can anybody on the chat let me know, just say yes or no, if this is legitimate or illegitimate here with this phishing. We'll give you a couple 30 seconds or a minute, and we'll just say yes or no, legitimate or illegitimate. People in the chat saying yes, legitimate. Y'all pretty smart, huh? Y'all pretty smart. Let's see. Okay, I mean, it's a lot of people saying yes. Then seeing he knows, you're actually correct. It's definitely a legitimate attempt here. We know it's grandma's cookies now. All right. What about this one? Legitimate or illegitimate? You guys are cyber experts, huh? Okay. Okay. I like it. I like it. No yeses. That's right. Because you can see the return path here. What you don't see is Fisher.com. They're spoofing example.com, right? They're acting like they're example.com. They're acting like they're PayPal.com and sending you a message. And so these are the two ways, the legitimate one you saw, right? And this way you saw how easy it is for a phisher or for a scammer to spoof you. Now, in the real world, there are millions of domains out there. Nothing is stopping a attacker from registering a domain, right? Buying a domain, and then spoofing a domain that's legitimate, right? So anybody can, Fisher.com can spoof Microsoft.com. Fisher.com can spoof Amazon.com. There's nothing stopping Fisher.com from spoofing and acting like there's somebody that they're not. And that's why we need to have DMARC in place at a company level, right? You can have DMARC in place too as well. You can also have it if you build a website, right? I don't know if you use Wix or whatever platform you use. You can actually implement DMARC records to protect somebody from using your website, right, against you and emailing you, et cetera, if they're illegitimate. So there's some things to think about too as well. Here is a bigger example. As you can see, the 5321 is the from address. The 5322 is the one that is displayed in the header. So the from address you see here is the paypal.com. That's what you see. And the 5321, I didn't show an example earlier, but I'm showing it now. You see malicious.com is actually behind the paypal.com fish. Okay. So this is good information right here, for y'all to know, like, hey, malicious.com can spoof paypal.com at any moment, send you a message, as you saw my examples earlier with Amazon. It's possible, right? It's definitely possible it's just that simple, it's just that easy that a malicious person can spoof a legitimate domain and trick you to clicking on something, to downloading something, to giving some, monetary information. So be very careful here as well. So next, we're going to talk about spoofing impersonation. I just want to show some more examples of domain spoofing, lookalike domain spoofing, display name spoofing, also called user impersonation. Here you see an example of Satya Nadella. He's our CEO at Microsoft. And here you can see he's telling Isabella, can you send us the final physical numbers on mobile to send as an attachment, right? And you can see, I work at Microsoft. So just imagine everybody, close your eyes. Imagine you working at Microsoft right now, and Satya Nadella, the CEO, just sent you a message saying, hey, such and such, can you do this for me? Maybe you're his admin at this point, right? Let's call you, you're his admin or you're his direct reports, right? You report to him. Satya Nadella just sent you a message, right? You're like, okay, it's just Satya. Oh, I gotta do it, right? Because he's the CEO, he needs him now, right? This is actually, can anybody tell me if this is actually a legitimate message from Satya or illegitimate message from Satya? No or yes? Legitimate or legitimate message from illegitimate message from Satya? Okay, illegitimate, we got no. Awesome. Yes, this is actually a illegitimate message. This is so is no, right? Because what we call this is own domain spoofing. We just saw the example earlier. Somebody using your own domain to spoof you, right? Spoof you, your customers. That's possible to happen. SIN authentication, what we just talked about, DMARC, SPF, that is key for defense for that because we can stop that with SPF and DMARC together. We can stop somebody from using our own domain against us and our customers. The next one is cross domain spoofing, and that's domains that you don't own. Okay, so that could be the PayPal example. Say you own Microsoft, you don't own PayPal. That's what we call cross domain spoofing. Somebody spoofing PayPal and then send it to Microsoft, right? So that's what we call cross domain spoofing. The next one is easy. This one is also, I would say, is hard to, not I would say it's hard, but you want to be really paying attention. As I said earlier, you want to really be paying attention to the address. So this is Satya Nadella again, but as you can see at the top there, Satya address there has missing the M with .co, right? Instead of say .com, it says .co, right? That's what we call typo squatting, right? It's trying to trick your users, trick you, right, to thinking, hey, this is the domain that you should trust. Maybe you're running fast, maybe it's early in the morning, maybe you're working late at night. It's tricking you at this point, right? And so as you can see, you have the one below it that says Microsoft, right? We're missing the R there. So I would just pay attention, right? I would just pay attention. That's the easiest I can say. This one is called display name spoofing. So you see the Microsoft Teams address there, and then you see the other address that I have in the box there. That address has nothing to do with Microsoft Teams, right? It should say like Office 365, right? .com at least, not Fedco, right? And so end user education is key. Remember, end user education is everybody's, cybersecurity is everybody's responsibility, but it starts with end user education, right? You can have all the technical things to fight against spoofing, phishing in the world, but at the end of the day, you are the last layer of defense, right? And so I want to help you all, think about how to spot a phishing email, how to protect yourself, and so a couple ways you could do it is, as you saw earlier, learn the warning signs, right? Scammers, they create a sense of urgency, right? To get you to act quickly, right? Claim you owe money, verify personal information, slow down, just slow down and check for the signs of scams, right? Typos, the weird grammars. Next is always double check that email address, right? If you don't remember anything else, always double check that email sending address for that lookalike, for that spoof email, anything that can fool you, right? Check their email. Make sure it comes from an official domain. If you can't see the sender's email, double click on it, hover over the name to reveal it. Okay. Regularly check your credit report, your banking statements. Scammers almost always are after your financial accounts, right? So look for that too as well. They say, hey, you got to charge, whatever, look at your bank statements, look at any strange charges on your bank account, anything you don't recognize. Look for that too as well. Also, be suspicious of all links. Never click on a link in an email from people you don't know personally. that can lead to those fake websites, stealing your personal information once again, or infect your device with that malware. Right? Always hover over the link before you click on it. If you're in doubt, visit the website directly rather than the link through the email. And then lastly, you can actually sign up for identity theft protection. Aura is one of the top rated identity theft protection monitor that you get this personally on your machine, and that'll monitor your most sensitive information, your personal information, your online accounts, your finances for any signs of fraud. I think there's a 30-day trial tool as well. Some more things about protecting yourself. These are some easy ways today that you can implement, right? Use strong passwords. Cybersecurity is like a superhero for your computer and the internet. It's all about, keeping your computer, your information safe from bad people who might want to do naughty things. So imagine your computer like that secret treasure chest full of your favorite things once again, and you want to create strong passwords so that people cannot get into your treasure chest. I suggest out there as well on the internet from the NIST, which is the cybersecurity. We all look at NIST as the people who give like the latest reports on like how people should be in the digital world. They recommend at least 16 character passwords. I know that's a lot, but sometimes a 6 character password can be better than a 16 character password. You just want to make sure it's complex, right? That's really the main thing. You want to make sure it's complex, upper, lower cases, special characters. You can make it as complex as possible. It could be more, a 6 character password could be more safe than an 8 character or a 10 character or a 16 character password. You just want to make sure it's complex and it's unique. Never reuse passwords. Next thing you can do is use a password manager. Apple has something called Keychain. You all might have heard about it. If you go into your settings on your iPhone, you tap your name, you can choose iCloud and turn on an iCloud keychain. Okay, that'll store your passwords. That'll alert you of duplicate passwords. That'll actually help you generate stronger passwords. It will actually also make easy to sign into certain websites because it's pulling from that keychain, that password manager, right? And also use encryption because Apple never knows what your passwords are. They're just trying to keep it safe from cyber attacks. Google, if you have an Android, it's called Google Password Manager, or you can use 1Password. I'm actually not a Android user myself, but Google Password Manager is the other one. Like Apple has Keychain, Google has Password Manager. Multi-factor authentication. What is it, right? I always encourage this, right? You might see Instagram start saying this now too as well. Do not sleep on multi-factor authentication, please. Actually, you decrease the chance of you getting identity theft because you have multi-factor authentication, right? It's actually when you sign with your username and password, it's a code sent to your phone or your email, or you have your authenticator app potentially, or security key, or biometrics. Like you all might be lock your phone, right? You got to use your face, right? Biometrics or fingerprint or facial recognition. Use that stuff, right? So somebody can't get into your phone, right? So somebody can't get into your account. That's going to help, fight against attackers as well, because they can't just have your username and password. They probably got to have your face too as well, right? Or your fingerprint as well, or they got to have that code to your phone or your email. So think about using things like that. A lot of people in businesses, Vegas actually just got hit like this for like billions of dollars because they didn't use multi-factor authentication. So it happens every day, but sometimes people kind of got to get burnt, right, before they think about implementing this for their account, for their digital assets, right? But definitely use it for email, use it for any online store you log into with your personal information. Social media, I would encourage that too. Yes, it's an extra step, but it gives you being out in the digital world. You don't want your Instagram getting hacked. You don't want your TikTok getting hacked. If you're an influencer, you don't want that to happen. You got millions of followers. You don't want that happening to you, right? So be careful and use multi-factor authentication everywhere that you can think of. Also, recognize and report phishing. I'll put it in red because it's urgent, right? It can kind of make you scared, right? Anything that's telling you to click on this link immediately, bad spelling, bad grammar, request for personal information, The once again, the email addresses don't match the company is coming from, email you wasn't expecting. Always be skeptical. If it looks weird, it looks strange, ask your parents for help. Bad people sometimes pretend to be nice and trick you. I always keep that in mind too. That's a life lesson. What to do? Don't click on the link. Don't click on the attachment. Don't send me personal information. Verify it. Contact that person directly with someone you know. Hey, did you just send me this email? Hey, did you just request for this, this money, potentially, right? And you all might use Cash App, right? Actually, somebody actually tried to trick me, to send them some money through Cash App, right? I was actually trying to buy a PlayStation off Facebook Market. Silly me, right? And it was like Cash App me, first. And then I go to, I'm like, oh, they're probably, I'm like, oh, wait a minute. I got to see the PlayStation first. Like, I'm just going to give you the money. But it turns out, that person was a scammer, right? They was not going to send me any PlayStation. They was not going to ship me anything. It actually happened to me before. Actually, I actually bought when I was younger, when eBay is still around, I bought like a video game off eBay, and they sent me a pair of socks and not the actual video game, and that was a little weird. So just be careful. I would say online for sure. Report it to your IT department, um, you know, or email or phone provider too as well. There's a lot of UPS scams, right? United Postal Service scams going out there, FedEx scams that are going out there getting text messages saying that, hey, you had a package or such and such. Be careful and delete it off your phone. Delete out your email if you do see the phishing. Update your software. Always keep your iPhone up to date. Make sure your device up to date. Make sure your apps up to date. Those are going to give you the best protection on your software from malware. Automatic updates on your maybe you have a Windows machine. If you have a Mac, keep that up to date as well. Do not ignore the software updates. Do not click the remind me later. That can leave you vulnerable too as well. Check your iPhone. Once again, software updates. I check my iPhone pretty much every day. I'm trying to keep it up to date as much as possible. So look in your phone, browser app settings, check for software updates, and some security best practices here too as well. Secure Wi-Fi. Use strong passwords at your home. Don't sleep on your home network. Somebody can hack into your home network. So use secure. If your password is not secure right now, tell your mom to change it, dad to change it. If it's too easy. Social media, be cautious about sharing your personal information. Avoid sensitive transactions on public networks. You are you at Starbucks? If you're at the airport, using public Wi-Fi. If you're at the hotel, using public Wi-Fi. Uh, be, just be careful making sensitive transactions. You don't know if the attacker's on the other side of that. So report that. Any suspicious activities. Be cautious with email attachment links. There's some added best practices. Just want to reiterate that again. And data backup. Regularly back up your important files. Just in case somebody hits you with that ransomware, you're like, haha, guess what? I still have my images. I still got my games because I actually back up my iPhone or my device, or I back up my stuff to another USB drive. Back up your stuff because if you do fall in that situation, you are protected. And you don't have to pay the ransom because you still got your stuff. So ways that you can get involved today. Publicize the resources, the activities, at your work. Hold a contest too as well. Post a contest if you're at work. A phishing simulation. Let people at your job know, hey, we need to do phishing simulations. We need to do giveaways if you're secure and et cetera. So be like an evangelist, right? At work, even at home, be evangelist. Helpful tips, all the resources, all the tips that I shared today. Tell your kids, tell your parents, tell your friends. Have a family tech talk, right? How everybody can protect the device, their accounts, and their personal information. Just create a culture of security in your family. In your community, volunteer to teach others in your community. Anything you learned today, volunteer to give people 10 minutes, 5 minutes. Maybe if you're at a senior center, if you're at a community center, this robotics team that we have today, right? I'll talk to them about it, right? Place of worship for those at church. Online, you can join the conversation. Use the hashtag Cybersecurity Awareness Month if you're on Twitter or LinkedIn, right? Hashtag Secure Our World. join the conversation around cybersecurity. How can you build a strong cybersecurity culture? Basic cybersecurity training. That's going to help you familiarize yourself. You all just went through a cybersecurity training today. Stay up to date, stay current as well. That make you stay vigilant out here in the real world, in the digital world. Identify available cybersecurity training resources, topics on phishing, good email practices. Schools can teach you that too as well. For those in schools, they might have, some things, cybersecurity training at schools nowadays. If you're at work, encourage your employees to make good choices and learn about the risks. So to conclude today, we recapped about the basics of cybersecurity, the importance of cybersecurity for ensure your safety online, continuous learning as well, stay up to date, right? So once again, cybersecurity is like having superheroes on your side to protect your computer, to keep your online world safe, and just remember to be smart, be careful, right, when you're on the internet, and you'll be a cyber hero too. So we got a little game here. I don't know, Ariel, if you want to tell me they can come on mute for the game, and then after the game, I'll send some questions in the chat.
Yeah. So again, if you have any questions, put in the chat. We'll answer them after this game. And make sure to actively participate. Yeah, this will be a really fun review.
Awesome. All right. First question, everybody. I know it's getting late. What is cybersecurity primarily concerned with protecting? Anybody want to raise their hand? And if anybody's watching the hand raises, let me know or come off mute. Ariel, I think we got a hand.
Oh, yeah. Nicholas.
Is it B?
B. You said B or D?
B as in
B.
boy.
Oh, I see you put in the chat. Oh, he answered first in the chat already. You're exactly correct. Digital assets. Cybersecurity is primarily protecting your digital assets. Nicholas, thank you for getting that first question answered there. Ariel, keep track of Nicholas' name there. Question number 2. Which of the following is a common cybersecurity threat that involves tricking individuals into revealing sensitive information through deceptive emails or websites? Anybody want to come off mute and say? I see we got a lot of hands in the chat. Nicholas, I saw you answered it first. Again, I guess I see it in the chat. So I see we got phishing. Correct. Nicholas is a pro. All right. Which of the following is a characteristic of a strong password? Which of the following is a characteristics of a strong password? Oh, Anusha. I see you. Great job. Yes. Includes a mix of letters, numbers, and special characters. Make sure we get Anusha's name there, Ariel. What is malware? Next question. Question number 4. What is malware? Anybody? Anusha, Nicholas, I see. Y'all, you are fast. Anybody else? Good. Jaden, I see you. See you there too. Yes, malicious software design, right, to harm or compromise systems. Next question. What does 2FA stand for in cybersecurity? 2FA. 2FA. What does 2FA stand for? Throwing some acronyms at you now. Somebody said two-factor authorization. That is not correct. C, yep, two-factor authentication. Close, but not correct. It could just be the, it's tricky right there with the acronym, right? Next question. Which of the following is common cybersecurity best practice for individuals? What is a common cybersecurity practice for individuals? Awesome. These questions might be too easy, huh? Yep. Using strong, unique passwords for each accounts. And last question is, how can you report a cybersecurity incident or suspicious activity in your organization? Right. Yeah. Awesome. 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 Good stuff here. I got a couple winners here. Make sure we get those names. C is the correct answer by following and reporting procedures outlined in your organization's cybersecurity policy. So great job. Awesome job. Actually, cyber experts, you all did a fantastic job. We're going to get your names down here. We're going to have some Microsoft gifts for you. I'll let Ariel or we'll get the names, get the addresses, after this call here, after we're done with today. Anybody who's interested in cybersecurity certifications, we have something called a CISSP, Certified Information Systems Security Professional. That is actually one of the most recognized certifications for information security professionals. That's a great certification to get if you're interested in getting into the field. The next one is Certified Ethical Hacker, CEH. That focuses on hacking and penetration testing. So if you're a person that, hey, yeah, I love to protect, but I actually want to be the red team, we call it, like offense side, not the blue team where we're protecting, but I want to be offense where I'm like, hey, I'm trying to break into a computer, or I'm trying to hack into your phone, or I'm trying to make sure that it's as secure as you say it is. That's a fun one to work towards too, is being a pen tester, they call them, where you're trying to break into things. So if you like breaking things and somebody says that the door is locked, but you're able to get inside the door type of person, and you find joy in doing that, right? Then that's a good one to get. So I want to give you both of them, one to protect and another one to be the offensive person, that you're the attacker too, is what they actually pay you, right, to be the attacker, right? Because companies, they need to know how secure their things are, and their products are, their solutions are. So they have to pay people to pen test and say, okay, are we really that secure? So they pay people to hack them pretty much. And so you could be, that's a pretty cool thing to do. Coursera offers Microsoft is partnership with Coursera. We have a lot of courses on there. Top University has courses on there too as well. Other institutions as well. That gives you a lot of online courses that you can choose from to learn more about cybersecurity, to maybe even get certifications too as well. EDX is another one that provides online courses on cybersecurity. Universities like MIT, Harvard, for those who are going to know about those schools, or probably potentially go to those schools one day too as well. There's some great courses on there to learn about cybersecurity. There's a lot more resources I got in the slide here. If you want to report a cybersecurity incident, if you want to learn about some training, some exercise that you can do in your free time, you actually can type in CISA on YouTube. That channel will populate a lot of information too as well. NCA, they have a lot of resources and guidelines, videos, on-demand webinars. These are some stuff that you can have. You can email them to as well at these different addresses, CISA.gov, awareness campaigns at CISA.dhs.gov, staysafeonline.org, info@staysafeonline.org. These are some ways you can get in touch with these folks here. And lastly, connect with me on LinkedIn. For those who want to just stay connected, right? That's really the main thing. Just maybe see some cool things that Microsoft is doing, that Blacks at Microsoft is doing too as well. I share a lot of information about cybersecurity on my LinkedIn. If you're interested in getting into Microsoft, right, I can help you with that too as well. Maybe some pathways to take, things to be thinking about, in high school and college, certifications to be thinking about. Too as well, outside of the educational institutions. So just connect with me on LinkedIn, and let's talk. And I'll open the floor after this for any questions or concerns. Thank you, Ariel. And I don't know if we have any questions. Let me stop sharing so I can see the chat.
I think one question I saw was, how do you make sure that when you have those strong passwords and you have different passwords, how do you make sure you don't forget them?
um, so if you're on a cell phone, right? I mentioned the password manager. That's the best place. Using the password manager, right? When iPhone, you have the keychain, right? You can type your passwords in there, and you can be the only person that can access those passwords. If you have Android, you can use the Google Password Manager as well, or One Password. Those are the safest ways, right, to keep your password secure because only you have access to the vault of those passwords, and they can be, you know, tied to each, type of, website you log into, app you log into. Those are the safest ways. Also, I believe some people they do write down passwords. I would say that's a no-go. I know that's tough to say because I know a lot of people probably still write down passwords. But a lot of people actually write down passwords, but I would say don't do that unless you're going to write it down and put it in a safe, right? If you're going to put it in the safe, but ideally, I will use a password manager to remember all those passwords. Hopefully, that answers your question.
Yeah,
Uh,
one more.
who that came from? I didn't know who did that question come from.
Um, I think that was from Coach Lisa.
Okay.
Yeah. And one more question. How often should you change slash update passwords?
How often? I actually don't recommend changing or updating your passwords unless it's being used in a breach. Because sometimes it kind of going back to the first question, when you change and update your password, often you tend to forget them. So I will make a unique password, um, and don't change it because if you change it, you might get lazy in your next password, right? And I don't want you to get lazy in that next password, and then you get hacked potentially because you got lazy in your next password. So I would stay away from actually changing your password um, often at all. So I would say don't change it. Make the first one unique and keep it at password so you remember it too as well. And don't because when you start changing passwords, you start forgetting passwords and you forgot, oh, I changed this one over here and I didn't change that one. And so keep every password unique. Like once again, leverage your phone to store those unique passwords. I don't know if notes in your phone is encrypted is a place that you can save your password. I haven't tried to use notes in my phone, but if notes is able to like use password protection to get into your notes, maybe store your passwords in your notes. If that's an option, but I haven't tested that to know. But I would say Shannon, I see you got a question there. Don't change, just make it unique. Any other these are some good questions. Any other uh questions? We got some time here. No question is a dumb question.
Oh, I see one more in the chat. Yeah, if a high schooler is interested in cybersecurity, what courses or classes would you recommend them to take?
Um, if you're in high school, right, and I know school is a little bit different, nowadays, but outside of high school, because I'm not sure, every school is pretty much different. Some schools offer cybersecurity courses, some schools don't. And my school didn't offer it. I will look to get on um it's an app called it just slipped my mind actually. It's an app that I would recommend using a Udemy. So Udemy is an app that I would download, and they have like $5, $10 cybersecurity courses or classes that you can take. So I'll put in the chat. It's called Udemy. Udemy. I'm probably saying it wrong myself. Udemy. Y'all might have to Excuse my language there, but it's called Udemy. I think it's actually pronounced Udemy, but I would leverage Udemy um, to take those classes, Anusha, because Udemy has a lot of great resources on there. I actually, when I was in school, because I didn't have cybersecurity courses, I used Udemy to learn how to code as well. I use Udemy to get into cybersecurity to start getting understanding. But go on Udemy, put in the search bar cybersecurity. They have one-on-one cybersecurity one-on-one, and start diving into those classes with one-on-one. If you're interested in malware, just malware. If you're interested in phishing, just phishing. You can actually, filter on that too as well. But I will start with cybersecurity one-on-one on Udemy, and then figure out what side of the house you want to be on. Do you want to be a person that um, looks at alerts all day and say, okay, we know this alert that somebody password got breached? You want to be like more of a SOC analyst, right? We call them, where they're looking at alerts all day. Do you want to be a person that's more infrastructure? Do you want to be a person that's more implementation of cybersecurity solutions? Do you want to be a hacker, right? You type in Udemy, hey, ethical hackers, cybersecurity hackers. Take a course on one-on-one if you want to be a hacker. And so I'll use Udemy, because Udemy I find to be the cheapest way, or Coursera. I'll use those as cybersecurity one-on-one. That'll be the best way to get into it. Also, there's some boot camps out there that you can take. If you follow me on LinkedIn too as well, connect with me. Microsoft, we actually have programs that we'll be doing going into the new year. Well, after the new year, I would say, because it's almost the new year now. And I can shoot some information to you as well on LinkedIn on what Microsoft is going to be doing or in relation to cybersecurity. And I'll put Udemy in the chat for those who may not know how to spell it. You can go on Udemy. You can search Udemy online. You can search Udemy through the apps. If you don't have my link, let me see if I can find my LinkedIn URL. I know I had a QR code, but let me see if I can find it as a link real quick. And I'll put it in the chat for those who just want to click on the LinkedIn through the chat. There we go. Great question for sure. Start early for sure. If you're all interested in cybersecurity, I would say start early, because cybersecurity is probably it's going to stay. They're investing a lot of money into cybersecurity, as you saw. It's forecast to be at such and such billions by 2028. When we talk about artificial intelligence, I saw you all did like an AI, presentation as well. Cybersecurity is in everything that we do. It touches everything. Whether you're looking for an opportunity, a job, maybe starting your own company, we're looking for a career. They pay. Cybersecurity, they pay pretty much pays the big bucks, right? Because we can have all this data, but somebody has to secure it, and that's why they come and pay the big bucks to the cybersecurity guys, because we got to keep things secure, right? Even when you think about a car, there's going to be a lot of technology in vehicles. They got to pay somebody to make sure that nobody hacks into your Tesla, potentially, and mess up your and shut your car down, right? So just think about that too as well. Netflix, they pay people to make sure Netflix is secure, right? You go to click on your movies, when you go to put in your information to get into Netflix, they got to pay somebody to keep that safe too as well, right? All that stuff is being stored somewhere in the cloud. And so cybersecurity is in everything that we do. Any questions? And also for your password, I was just thinking about this. If you all struggle with unique passwords, think of a poem, think of a niece, name and a nephew name together. I don't know what you want to do, but make it something unique that which you can remember, right? I always remember this. When you create a password, it should be easy to remember, but hard to guess. Okay, keep that in mind. Easy to remember, but hard to guess. Okay, so whatever, if it relates to you, if it's something internally, if it's a favorite food and you want to put unique characters together for that favorite food, make sure it's unique to you, right? Easy to remember to you, but hard to guess for an attacker. And that's what I do now. I actually went in and changed all my passwords to make it as unique as possible to myself. And I don't give my passwords away. I don't give my door code away, right? I'll make everything unique to me.
Yeah. Thanks, Bernard, for this presentation. I'm sure we all learned a lot about cybersecurity, and I think we'll be a lot safer when we go on the internet now. So, everyone, please consider joining for our future STEM forums, as we will have more to come. We will cover other topics, and yeah, you can learn a lot from these. And thanks for coming. And thank you, Bernard. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, everybody. Have a good night.
You too.
Thank you.